What do you do when the people closest to you become your biggest test? When your own blood sells you out, but somehow it still becomes part of your blessing? You didn't click this by accident. Maybe you're in your own Joseph season right now. Welcome to Carnivore and Affirmations, your sacred space for scripture, stillness, and soul healing. Here, we use the tools of today to share the timeless Word of God. This AI character is simply a vessel, but the Word remains alive. Let it speak to your spirit if you've been feeling betrayed, forgotten, or stuck in a place you didn't ask for. You're not alone. This scripture isn't random. It was written for moments just like this. Let the Word of God, King James Version, speak life into your soul. These verses are softly looped over 777 Hz, a frequency known to calm the nervous system, reduce anxiety, and restore divine alignment. Let the Word become your stillness. Let peace become your prayer. For deeper stillness and overnight peace, click on our Bible Affirmations playlist. Let it loop softly as you rest. Let the Word speak peace over you through the night. Receive, rest, remember. You are safe. You are seen. You are still loved. Genesis chapter 31, King James Version, verse 1. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's hath he gotten all this glory. Verse 2. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and, behold, it was not toward him as before. Verse 3. And the Lord said unto Jacob, Return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Verse 4. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock. Verse 5. And said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but the God of my father hath been with me. Verse 6. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father. Verse 7. And your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but God suffered him not to hurt me. Verse 8. If he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled, and if he said thus, the ringstraked shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ringstraked. Verse 9. Thus God hath taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me. Verse 10. And it came to pass, when the cattle conceived, that I lifted up mine eyes, and saw in a dream, and, behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ringstraked, speckled, and grizzled. Verse 11. And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob, and I said, Here am I. Verse 12. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see, all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ringstraked, speckled, and grizzled, for I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. Verse 13. I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointedst the pillar, and where thou vowedst to vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred. Verse 14. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Verse 15. Are we not counted of him strangers? For he hath sold us, and hath quite devoured also our money. Verse 16. For all the riches which God hath taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's. Now then, whatsoever God hath said unto thee, do. Verse 17. Then Jacob rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels. Verse 18. And he carried away all his cattle, and all his goods, which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. Verse 19. And Laban was gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. Verse 20. And Jacob stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, in that he told him not that he fled. Verse 21. So he fled with all that he had, and rose up, and passed over the river, and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. Verse 22. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled. Verse 23. And he took his brethren with him, and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead. Verse 24. And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Verse 25. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the Mount of Gilead. Verse 26. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters, as captives taken with the sword? Verse 27. Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me? So I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, with tabret, and with harp. Verse 28. And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. Verse 29. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt, but the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Verse 30. And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longedst after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods? Verse 31. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. Verse 32. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them. Verse 33. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the 2 maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then he went out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Verse 34. Now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them. And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. Verse 35. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon thee. And he searched, but found not the images. Verse 36. And Jacob was wroth, and chid with Laban, and Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? Verse 37. Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both. Verse 38. This 20 years have I been with thee in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Verse 39. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac, had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. God hath seen mine affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. Verse 40. Thus have I been in the day, the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes. Verse 41. Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times. Verse 42. Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac, had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. The God hath seen mine affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesternight. Verse 43. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, The daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the cattle are my cattle, and all that thou sayest is mine, and what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Verse 44. Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. Verse 45. And Jacob took a stone, and set it up for a pillar. Verse 46. And Jacob said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones, and made a heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. Verse 47. And Laban called it Jegar-sahadutha, but Jacob called it Galeed. Verse 48. And Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galeed. Verse 49, and this before he said, The Lord watch between me and thee, when we are absent one from another. Verse 50, If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us, see, God is witness betwixt me and thee. Verse 51, And Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee. Verse 52, This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me. Genesis chapter 32, King James Version. Verse 1, And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. Verse 2, And when Jacob saw them, he said, This is God's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Verse 3, And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Verse 4, And he commanded them, saying, Thus shall ye speak unto my lord Esau. Thy servant Jacob saith thus, I have sojourned with Laban, and stayed there until now. Verse 5, And I have oxen, and asses, flocks, and men servants, and women servants, and I have sent to tell my Lord, that I may find grace in thy sight. Verse 6, And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to thy brother Esau, and also he cometh to meet thee, and 400 men with him. Verse 7, Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks, and herds, and the camels, into 2 bands. Verse 8, And said, If Esau come to the one company, and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. Verse 9, And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which saidst unto me, Return unto thy country, and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. Verse 10, I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies, and of all the truth, which thou hast shewed unto thy servant. For with my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands. Verse 11, Deliver me, I pray thee, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he will come and smite me, and the mother with the children. Verse 12, And thou saidst, I will surely do thee good, and make thy seed as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. Verse 13, And he lodged there that same night, and took of that which came to his hand a present for Esau his brother. Verse 14, 200 she-goats, and 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams. Verse 15, 30 milch camels with their colts, 40 kine, and 10 bulls, 20 she-asses, and 10 foals. Verse 16, And he delivered them into the hand of his servants. Every drove by themselves, and said unto his servants, Pass over before me, and put a space betwixt drove and drove. Verse 17, And he commanded the foremost, saying, When Esau my brother meeteth thee, and asketh thee, saying, Whose art thou, and whither goest thou? And whose are these before thee? Verse 18, Then thou shalt say, They be thy servant Jacob's. It is a present sent unto my lord Esau. And, behold, Also he is behind us. Verse 19. And so commanded he the second, and the third, and all that followed the droves, saying, On this manner shall ye speak unto Esau, when ye find him. Verse 20. And say ye moreover, Behold, thy servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goeth before me, and afterward I will see his face. Peradventure he will accept of me. Verse 21. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. Verse 22. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives, and his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford Jabbok. Verse 23. And he took them, and sent them over the brook, and sent over that he had. Verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. Verse 26. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. Verse 27. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. Verse 28. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. Verse 29. And Jacob asked him, and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? And he blessed him there. Verse 30. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Verse 31. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. Verse 32. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Genesis chapter 33, King James Version. Verse 1. And Jacob lifted up his eyes, and looked, and, behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men, and he divided the children unto Leah, and unto Rachel, and unto the 2 handmaids. Verse 2. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. Verse 3. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. Verse 4. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. Verse 5. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with thee? And he said, The children which God hath graciously given thy servant. Verse 6. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. Verse 7. And Leah also with her children came near, and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. Verse 8. And he said, What meanest thou by all this drove which I met? And he said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. Verse 9. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. Verse 10. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Verse 11. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. Verse 12. And he said, Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. Verse 13. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Verse 14. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord unto Seir. Verse 15. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. Verse 16. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. Verse 17. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, and built him an house, and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. Verse 18. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padanaram, and pitched his tent before the city. Verse 19. And he bought a parcel of a field, where he had spread his tent, at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Verse 20. And he erected there an altar, and called it El-Elohe-Israel. Genesis chapter 34. King James Version. Verse 1. And Dinah the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Verse 2. And when Shechem the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and lay with her, and defiled her. Verse 3. And his soul clave unto Dinah the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. Verse 4. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. Verse 5. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. Verse 6. And Hamor the father of Shechem went out unto Jacob to commune with him. Verse 7. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife. Verse 9. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. Verse 10. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. Verse 11. And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Verse 12. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. Verse 13. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, Because he had defiled Dinah their sister. Verse 14. And they said unto them, We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. Verse 15. But in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Verse 16. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. Verse 17. But if ye will not hearken unto us, to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. Verse 18. And their words pleased Hamor, and Shechem Hamor's son. Verse 19. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. Verse 20. And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, Verse 21. These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Verse 22. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised. Verse 23. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. Verse 24. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. Verse 25. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males. Verse 26. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. Verse 27. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. Verse 28. They took their sheep, and their oxen, and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field. Verse 29. And all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. Verse 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, Ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me, and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. Verse 31. And they said, Should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? Genesis chapter 35, King James Version. Verse 1. And God said unto Jacob, Arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God, that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Verse 2. Then Jacob said unto his household, and to all that were with him, Put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. Verse 3. And let us arise, and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. Verse 4. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. Verse 5. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. Verse 6. So Jacob came to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people that were with him. Verse 7. And he built there an altar, and called the place Elbethel, because their God appeared unto him, when he fled from the face of his brother. Verse 8. But Deborah Rebekah's nurse died, and she was buried beneath Bethel under an oak, and the name of it was called Allenbacketh. Verse 9. And God appeared unto Jacob again, when he came out of Padanaram, and blessed him. Verse 10. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. Verse 11. And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. Verse 12. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. Verse 13. And God went up from him in the place where he talked with him. Verse 14. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. Verse 15. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him, Bethel. Verse 16. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. Verse 17. And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also. Verse 18. And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoni, but his father called him Benjamin. Verse 19. And Rachel died, and was buried in the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. Verse 20. And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day. Verse 21. And Israel journeyed, and spread his tent beyond the tower of Eder. Verse 22. And it came to pass, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. Verse 23. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. Verse 24. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. Verse 25. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. Verse 26. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padanaram. Verse 27. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. Verse 28. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. Verse 29. And Isaac gave up the ghost, and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. Genesis chapter 36, King James Version. Verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Verse 2. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah the daughter of Anna the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite. Verse 3. And Bashemath Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. Verse 4. And Adah bore to Esau Eliphaz, and Bashemath bore Ruel. Verse 5. And Aholibamah bore Jush and Jalam and Korah. These were Esau's sons by his wife Adah. Verse 6. And these were Esau's sons by his wife Aholibamah the daughter of Anna the daughter of Zibeon, and she bore to Esau Jush and Jalam and Korah. Verse 7. These are the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz the firstborn of Esau, Duke Taman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz. Verse 8. Duke Korah, Duke Gadam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that descended from Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. Verse 9. And these are the sons of Ruel, Esau's son, Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shammah, Duke Mizah. Verse 10. And these are the sons of Aholibamah, Esau's wife, Duke Jush, Duke Jalam, and Duke Korah. These are the dukes that descended from Aholibamah the daughter of Anna, Esau's wife. Verse 11. And these are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. Verse 12. Duke Timon, Duke Alva, Duke Jetheth, Duke Aholibamah, Duke Elah, Duke Pinion. Verse 13. Duke Kenaz, Duke Taman, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magdiel, Duke Iram. These are the dukes of Edom according to their cities, which were made their habitations in the land of their possession. These are the sons of Esau, the father of the Edomites. Verse 14. And these are the sons of Seir the Horite, who inhabited the land, Lotan and Shobal and Zibeon and Anna. Verse 15. And Dishon and Ezer and Dishon. These are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir in the land of Edom. Verse 16. And these are the sons of Lotan Horite, Duke Hori and Helam and Heman and Ithran and Cheran. These are the dukes that came of Lotan. Verse 17. And these are the sons of Shobal, Duke Alvan and Manahath and Ebal and Shepho and Onam. These are the dukes that came of Shobal. Verse 18. And these are the sons of Zibeon, Duke Ai and Anna. This was that Anna that found the mules in the wilderness as he fed the asses of Zibeon his father. Verse 19. And these are the sons of Anna, Duke Dishon and Aholibamah the daughter of Anna. Verse 20. And these are the sons of Dishon, Duke Hemdan and Eshban and Ithran and Cheran. Verse 21. The sons of Ezer, Duke Bilhan and Zavan and Nican. Verse 22. The sons of Dishon, Duke Uzi and Aaron. Verse 23. And these are the sons of Ezer, Duke Bilhan and Zavan and Nican. Verse 24. And the sons of Dishon, Duke Uzi and Aaron. Verse 25. These are the dukes that came of the Horites, Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anna. Verse 26. Duke Dishon, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishon. Verse 27. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Verse 28. And Bela the son of Beer reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. Verse 29. And when Bela was dead, Jobab the son of Zerah of Bozrah reigned in his stead. Verse 30. And when Jobab was dead, Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his stead. Verse 31. And when Husham was dead, Hadad the son of Bedad, which smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of his city was Avith. Verse 32. And when Hadad was dead, Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his stead. Verse 33. And when Samlah was dead, Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his stead. Verse 34. And when Shaul was dead, Baalhanan the son of Achbor reigned in his stead. Verse 35. And when Baalhanan was dead, Hadad reigned in his stead, and the name of his city was Pau, and his wife's name was Mehetabel the daughter of Matred the daughter of Mezahab. Verse 36, and Hadad died, and the dukes of Edom were Duke Timnah, Duke Eliah, Duke Jetheth. Verse 37, Duke Aholibamah, Duke Elah, Duke Pinion. Verse 38, Duke Kenaz, Duke Taman, Duke Mibzar. Verse 39, Duke Magdiel, Duke Iram. These be the dukes of Edom according to their habitations in the land of their possession. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. Genesis chapter 37, King James Version. Verse 1, and Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. Verse 2, these are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Verse 3, now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. Verse 4, and when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. Verse 5, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Verse 6, and he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. Verse 7, for behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. Verse 8, and his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, and for his words. Verse 9, and he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Verse 10, and he told it to his father, and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? Verse 11, and his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. Verse 12, and his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. Verse 13, and Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. Verse 14, and he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. Verse 15, and a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field, and the man asked him, saying, what seekest thou? Verse 16, and he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. Verse 17, and the man said, they are departed hence, for I heard them say, let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. Genesis chapter 38, King James Version. Verse 1, and it came to pass at that time, that Judah went down from his brethren, and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. Verse 2, And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her, and went in unto her. Verse 3. And she conceived, and bare a son, and he called his name Er. Verse 4. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. Verse 5. And she yet again conceived, and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. Verse 6. And Judah took a wife for Er his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. Verse 7. And Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. Verse 8. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. Verse 9. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Verse 10. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Verse 11. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. Verse 12. And in process of time the daughter of Shua Judah's wife died. And Judah was comforted, and went up unto his sheepshearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. Verse 13. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. Verse 14. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. Verse 15. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. Verse 16. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? Verse 17. And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge, till thou send it? Verse 18. And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. Verse 19. And she arose, and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. Verse 20. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Verse 21. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. Verse 22. And he returned to Judah, and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said, that there was no harlot in this place. Verse 23. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. Verse 24. And it came to pass about 3 months after, that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. Verse 25. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man, whose these are, am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet, and bracelets, and staff. Verse 26. And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. Verse 27. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. Verse 28. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. Verse 29. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. Verse 30. And afterward came out his brother, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. Genesis chapter 39, King James Version. Verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. Verse 2. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. Verse 3. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Verse 4. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. Verse 5. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house, and in the field. Verse 6. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person, and well favored. Verse 7. And it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. Verse 8. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. Verse 9. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, and sin against God? Verse 10. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. Verse 11. And it came to pass about this time, that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. Verse 12. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. Verse 13. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth. Verse 14. That she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Verse 15. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. Verse 16. And she laid up his garment by her, until his Lord came home. Verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me. Verse 18. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled out. Verse 19. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. Verse 20. And Joseph's master took him, and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. Verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph, and shewed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Verse 22. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. Verse 23. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. Genesis chapter 40, King James Version. Verse 1. And it came to pass after these things, that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord the king of Egypt. Verse 2. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. Verse 3. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. Verse 4. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. Verse 5. And they dreamed a dream both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. Verse 6. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. Verse 7. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? Verse 8. And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. Verse 9. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me. Verse 10. And in the vine were 3 branches, and it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. Verse 11. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Verse 12. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Verse 13. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou wast his butler. Verse 14. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. Verse 15. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. Verse 16. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. Verse 17. And in the uppermost basket there was of all manner of bake meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. Verse 18. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Verse 19. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. Verse 20. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. Verse 21. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Verse 22. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Verse 23. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgat him. Genesis chapter 41, King James Version. Verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years, that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. Verse 2. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. Verse 3. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. Verse 4. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke. Verse 5. And he slept and dreamed the 2nd time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. Verse 6. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. Verse 7. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. Verse 8. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Verse 10. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. Verse 11. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. Verse 12. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream he did interpret. Verse 13. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Verse 14. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. Verse 15. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee, that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. Verse 16. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Verse 17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. Verse 18. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 kine, fat-fleshed and well-favored, and they fed in a meadow. Verse 19. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. Verse 20. And the lean and the ill-favored kine did eat up the first 7 fat kine. Verse 21. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke. Verse 22. And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. Verse 23. And behold, 7 ears, withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. Verse 24. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. Verse 25. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath shewed Pharaoh what he is about to do. Verse 26. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. Verse 27. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Verse 28. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do he sheweth unto Pharaoh. Verse 29. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 30. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. Verse 31. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. Verse 32. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, it is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Verse 33. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Verse 34. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. Verse 35. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. Verse 36. and that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. Verse 37. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. Verse 38. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is? A man in whom the Spirit of God is? Verse 39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Verse 40. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Verse 41. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. Verse 42. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. Verse 43. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, Bow the knee. And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Verse 44. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. Verse 45. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath the daughter of Potiphar a priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. Verse 46. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 47. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls. Verse 48. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities, the food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. Verse 49. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. Verse 50. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath the daughter of Potiphar a priest of On bare unto him. Verse 51. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my toil, and all my father's house. Verse 52. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Verse 53. And the 7 years of plenteousness, that was in the land of Egypt, were ended. Verse 54. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. Verse 55. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. Verse 56. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. Verse 57. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. Genesis chapter 42, King James Version. Verse 1. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? Verse 2. And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live, and not die. Verse 3. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. Verse 4. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. Verse 5. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Verse 6. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came, and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Verse 7. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. Verse 8. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. Verse 9. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Verse 10. And they said unto him, Nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. Verse 11. We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. Verse 12. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. Verse 13. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. Verse 14. And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Verse 15. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Verse 16. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies. Verse 17. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. Verse 18. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do, and live, for I fear God. Verse 19. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses. Verse 20. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. Verse 21. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul, when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. Verse 22. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear? Therefore behold also his blood is required. Verse 23. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. Verse 24. And he turned himself about from them, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Verse 25. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. Verse 26. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. Verse 27. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. Verse 28. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God hath done unto us? Verse 29. And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, Verse 30. The man, who is the Lord of the land, spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. Verse 31. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. Verse 32. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. Verse 33. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. Verse 34. And bring your youngest brother unto me, then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. Verse 35. And it came to pass as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. Verse 36. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. Verse 37. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons. If I bring him not to thee, deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. Verse 38. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in the which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Genesis chapter 43, King James Version. Verse 1. And the famine was sore in the land. Verse 2. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. Verse 3. And Judah spake unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. Verse 4. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. Verse 5. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. Verse 6. And Israel said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? Verse 7. And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state, and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? Verse 8. And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live, and not die, both we, and thou, and also our little ones. Verse 9. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. Verse 10. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. Verse 11. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the manna present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. Verse 12. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight. Verse 13. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man. Verse 14. And God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother, and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. Verse 15. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up, and went down to Egypt, and stood before Joseph. Verse 16. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. Verse 17. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. Verse 18. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen, and our asses. Verse 19. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house. Verse 20. And said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. Verse 21. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. Verse 22. And other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. Verse 23. And he said, Peace be to you. Fear not. Your God, and the God of your father, hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. Verse 24. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. Verse 25. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. Verse 26. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. Verse 27. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive? Verse 28. And they answered, Thy servant our father is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads, and made obeisance. Verse 29. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. Verse 30. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber, and wept there. Verse 31. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. Verse 32. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians, which did eat with him, by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Verse 33. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. Verse 34. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank, and were merry with him. Genesis chapter 44, King James Version. Verse 1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. Verse 2. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. Verse 3. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. Verse 4. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Verse 5. Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing. Verse 6. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. Verse 7. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Verse 8. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths, we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? Verse 9. With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. Verse 10. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Verse 11. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. Verse 12. And he searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Verse 13. Then they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. Verse 14. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. Verse 15. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine? Verse 16. And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we, and he also with whom the cup is found. Verse 17. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. Verse 18. Then Judah came near unto him, and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. Verse 19. My Lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father, or a brother? Verse 20. And we said unto my Lord, We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. Verse 21. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. Verse 22. And we said unto my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. Verse 23. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. Verse 24. And it came to pass when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. Verse 25. And our father said, Go again, and buy us a little food. Verse 26. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. Verse 27. And thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons. Verse 28. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. Verse 29. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Verse 30. Now therefore when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life. Verse 31. It shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servants shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. Verse 32. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Verse 33. Now therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. Verse 34. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me? Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. Genesis chapter 45, King James Version. Verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. Verse 2. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. Verse 3. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. Verse 4. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Verse 5. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. Verse 6. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years, in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. Verse 7. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. Verse 8. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Verse 9. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. Verse 10. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou, and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. Verse 11. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou, and thy household, and all that thou hast, come to poverty. Verse 12. And, behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. Verse 13. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. Verse 14. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Verse 15. Moreover he kissed all his brethren, and wept upon them, and after that his brethren talked with him. Verse 16. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. Verse 17. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, lade your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. Verse 18. And take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Verse 19. Now thou art commanded, this do ye, take ye wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Verse 20. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. Verse 21. And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons, according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. Verse 22. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of raiment. Verse 23. And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. Verse 24. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. Verse 25. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father. Verse 26. And told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. Verse 27. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. Verse 28. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. Genesis chapter 46, King James Version. Verse 1. And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac. Verse 2. And God spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. Verse 3. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. Verse 4. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon mine eyes. Verse 5. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father, and their little ones, and their wives in the wagons, which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. Verse 6. And they took their cattle, and their goods, which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him. Verse 7. And these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt, Jacob and his sons. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn. Verse 8. And the sons of Reuben, Hanok and Phalu, and Hezron, and Carmi. Verse 9. And the sons of Simeon, Jemuel, and Jamin, and Ohad, and Jachin, and Zohar, and Shaul the son of a Canaanitish woman. Verse 10. And the sons of Levi, Gershon, and Kohath, and Merari. Verse 11. And the sons of Judah, Er, and Onan, and Shelah, and Phares, and Zerah. But Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan. Verse 12. And the sons of Phares were Hezron and Hamul. Verse 13. And the sons of Issachar, Tola, and Phuvah, and Job, and Shimron. Verse 14. And the sons of Zebulun, Sered, and Elon, and Yaliel. Verse 15. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bare unto Jacob in Padanaram, with his daughter Dinah. Altogether his sons and daughters were 33. Verse 16. And the sons of Gad, Zephon, and Haggi, Shuni, and Esbon, and Eri, and Arodi, and Areli. Verse 17. And the sons of Asher, Imnah, and Ishva, and Ishvi, and Beriah, and Sarah their sister. Verse 18. And the sons of Rachel Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin. Verse 19. And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which is Senath the daughter of Potiphar a priest of On bare unto him. Verse 20. And the sons of Benjamin were Bela, and Becher, and Ashbel, Gera, and Naaman, Ahi, and Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. Verse 21. These are the sons of Rachel which were born to Jacob. All the souls were 14. Verse 22. And the sons of Dan, Hushim. Verse 23. And the sons of Naphtali, Jahzeel, and Guni, and Jezer, and Shillem. Verse 24. These are the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and she bare them unto Jacob. All the souls were 7. Verse 25. All the souls that came with Jacob into Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, were 66 souls. Verse 26. And Joseph sent and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred, 70 souls. Verse 27. And Jacob sent Judah before him unto Joseph, to direct his face unto Goshen. And they came into the land of Goshen. Verse 28. And Joseph made ready his chariot, and went up to meet Israel his father, to Goshen, and presented himself unto him, and fell on his neck, and wept on his neck a good while. Verse 29. And Israel said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. Verse 30. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I will go up and tell Pharaoh, and say unto him, My brethren and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. Verse 31. And the men are shepherds, for their trade hath been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. Verse 32. And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you and say, What is your occupation? Verse 33. That ye shall say, Thy servants are shepherds, for we have been keepers of cattle from our youth even until now, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Verse 34. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. Verse 35. And the time that Jacob lived in the land of Egypt was 17 years. So the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. Verse 36. And the sons of Israel died there, and Joseph and all his brethren and all that generation. Genesis chapter 47, King James Version. Verse 1. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh, and said, My father and my brethren, with their flocks and their herds and all that they have, are come out of the land of Canaan, and, behold, they are in the land of Goshen. Verse 2. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. Verse 3. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? Verse 4. And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we, and also our fathers. Verse 5. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, To sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, because the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. Verse 6. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, dwell in the land of Goshen. And if ye know any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. Verse 7. And Joseph brought in Jacob his father, and set him before Pharaoh, and Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Verse 8. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, How many are the days of the years of thy life? Verse 9. And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. Verse 10. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh, and went out from the presence of Pharaoh. Verse 11. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren, and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded. Verse 12. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to the number of their mouths. Verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. Verse 14. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. Verse 15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread. For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Verse 16. And Joseph said, Give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. Verse 17. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for flocks, and for cattle of oxen, and for asses. And he fed them with bread in exchange for all their cattle for that year. Verse 18. When that year was ended, they came unto him the next year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my lord, that our money is spent, and the herds of cattle are my lord's. There is naught left in the sight of my lord, but our bodies and our lands. Verse 19. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants to Pharaoh. And give seed to the land, and we shall live, and not die, that the land perish not. Verse 20. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. Verse 21. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the border of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Verse 22. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. Verse 23. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. Verse 24. And it shall come to pass in the increase, that ye shall give the 5th part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones. Verse 25. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. Verse 26. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh's. Verse 27. And Israel dwelled in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen. And they had possessions therein, and grew, and multiplied exceedingly. Verse 28. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the days of Jacob, the years of his life, were 147 years. Verse 29. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Fear not to bury me in Egypt. Verse 30. But I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. Verse 31. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. Genesis chapter 48, King James Version. Verse 1. And it came to pass after these things, that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. Verse 2. And Joseph took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Verse 3. And one told Jacob, and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself, and sat up in bed. Verse 4. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. Verse 5. And said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. Verse 6. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. Verse 7. And thy seed that thou begettest after them shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. Verse 8. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? Verse 9. And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. Verse 10. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Verse 11. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. Verse 12. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Verse 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and, lo, God hath shewed me also thy seed. Verse 14. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. Verse 15. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. Verse 16. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly. Verse 17. And he blessed Joseph, and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day. Verse 18. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac. Verse 19. And let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Verse 20. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand, to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. Verse 21. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. Verse 22. And his father refused, and said, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. Verse 23. And he blessed them that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Verse 24. And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Verse 25. Moreover I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Genesis chapter 49, King James Version. Verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Verse 2. Assemble yourselves, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Verse 4. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed. Then defiledst thou it. He went up to my couch. Verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. Verse 6. O my soul, come not thou into their secret. Unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self will they dig down a wall. Verse 7. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Verse 11. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Verse 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Verse 13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. Verse 15. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Verse 17. Dan shall be a serpent in the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. Verse 18. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Verse 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Verse 20. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Verse 21. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. Verse 23. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. Verse 24. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Verse 25. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. Verse 26. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph. and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Verse 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. Verse 28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them. Every one according to his blessing he blessed them. Verse 29. And he charged them, and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite. Verse 30. In the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. Verse 31. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. Verse 32. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Het. Verse 33. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed, and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. Genesis chapter 50, King James Version. Verse 1. And Joseph fell upon his father's face, and wept upon him, and kissed him. Verse 2. And Joseph commanded his servants the physicians to embalm his father. And the physicians embalmed Israel. Verse 3. 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 60 days. Verse 4. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying. Verse 5. My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die. In my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan, there shalt thou bury me. Verse 6. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. Verse 7. And Pharaoh said, Go up, and bury thy father, according as he made thee swear. Verse 8. And Joseph went up to bury his father. And with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. Verse 9. And all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. They left Egypt. Verse 10. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. Verse 11. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. Verse 12. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. And the place was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. Verse 13. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. Verse 14. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of a burying place from Ephron the Hittite, before Mamre. Verse 15. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he, and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father. Verse 16. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Verse 17. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying. Verse 18. So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin. For they did unto thee evil. And now, we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. Verse 19. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. Verse 20. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be thy servants. Verse 21. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? Verse 22. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Verse 23. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. Verse 24. And he comforted them, and spake kindly unto them. Verse 25. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and lived 110 years. Verse 26. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the 3rd generation, the children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh. Verse 27. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Verse 28. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. Verse 29. So Joseph died, being 110 years old. And they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. As our sacred journey through Genesis 31 to 50 comes to a close, from Jacob's escape and Esau's embrace, to Rachel's tears and Joseph's betrayal, from pit to palace, famine to forgiveness, you've witnessed how God works through broken families, fragile hearts, and forgotten dreams. Before you go, let's remember the road we've traveled. Genesis 1 to 10, creation, corruption, and covenant through water. Genesis 11 to 20, towers fell, altars rose, and promises were tested. Genesis 21 to 30, laughter was born, ladders were climbed, and legacies were shaped in the fire of conflict. Now, in Genesis 31 to 50, God shows us that no betrayal is too deep, no delay too long, and no detour too far for his purpose to prevail. Through Joseph's tears, Judah's change, and Jacob's final breath, the thread of grace never breaks. And so we close the book of Genesis. But not the story, because your own journey is still being written. If this meditation brought you peace, like this video as your amen to God's sovereign hand. Comment Genesis below, and share what verse or moment reminded you that you're not alone. Subscribe as we prepare to open Exodus, where faith will be tested again, but deliverance draws near.